Peace, family. Welcome to another Sundae Sermon, a celebration of Black folks. Hey, everyone. My name is Naa Akua, and I will be your MC for today. A little known facts about me. I am from New York, hailing from New York, but sitting on this burnt orange couch in Seattle. And I've been a spoken word artist, still a spoken word artist, a teaching artist, and an actor, and also finding my way through sound healing and just healing others through word and sound. And we'll get into all of that a little bit later, but let's continue on. Although we can't take this celebration outside, we can all enjoy time together today. I would like to recognize that I and many of the folks today are coming from the land of the Coast Salish, specifically the Duwamish, whose people past and present are still here. We honor with gratitude the land and the people. And coming back to that sound and word, I would like us to take a moment to think about what it is that you are grateful for. And while you are thinking about what you are grateful for, we are going to do a breathing exercise called 4462. And what I'm asking you to do right now is to get into a comfortable state. If you are sitting, make sure that your feet are firmly on the ground and your back is straight. And if you are comfortable, allow your eyes to gently close and repeat those words of gratitude. Let that sound come in, and you can do that silently as you do this breathing exercise with me. Breathe in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in for 2. 1, 2. Breathe out. I'm going to do this 2 more times. Breathe in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in for 2. 1, 2. Breathe out. This is your last one. Breathe in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in for 2. 1, 2. Breathe out. All right, shake that off, shake that off. Remember those words of gratitude, and let's continue on. We are here to celebrate Black folks in this 6-part virtual series. Today, we are celebrating the LGBTQIA+. Although I can't see you, all I can imagine you are currently smiling. Yeah. Hopefully with a cup, pint, cone of ice cream. Today, we're going to celebrate and kick it. Yeah, we gonna kick it. Sundae Sermon is in partnership with Washington State Parks and Golden Bricks Events, with additional support from our generous sponsors. And those sponsors are Seattle Audubon, Washington State Parks Foundation, the Wilderness Society Washington Trails Association, National Endowment for the Arts, Conservation Northwest, and For Culture. At this time, drop in the comment section of your YouTube where you are watching from, and we're going to get this started. Today, we are highlighting Dash Point State Park. So First, let's start with a quick virtual tour of Dash Point State Park. Take it away, Allison.
Hi everyone, my name is Allison. I'm coming to you today from the Washington State Parks Foundation. I'm so excited to share with you an awesome resource on our website that allows you to virtually tour our state parks. Today we'll be focusing on Dash Point State Park. This park is popular for hiking and trail exploration, as well as activities like skimboarding, saltwater fishing, and beach lounging. What we're gonna do is go to waparks.org, that's our Washington State Parks Foundation website. And the first thing you're gonna see is the option to take a virtual tour. So we're gonna click on that. And as you can see, it takes you to the page with a full list of all of the virtual tours available to you. It keeps going. You've got the parks, retreat centers, interpretive centers, vacation houses, anything you could think of, it's probably here. We're gonna click on Dash Point. And what it's gonna do is it's gonna take you to an awesome scene right here of the beach. And it's automatically rotating you, but what you can do is press the play button at the bottom to stop it, and then you can manually drag along the screen in the direction that you want to go. So it's really cool because it's basically like being there. You can zoom in and out as well, like I'm doing right now. And what's great is that over here on the left, you've got a number of resources. So here is the virtual tours homepage button. If you click on that, it'll take you back to the page we were at before. This is going to remove the scene list from the right-hand side. And if you click it again, it'll come back. This is a map, so you can see a map of the park. And then this button is actually going to take you to the information page for the individual park. I'm going to stay on the virtual tour page right now, but when you're exploring on your own, you can go ahead and click on that and it'll take you to the park page, which will give you more information on activities available and even links to brochures and reservation pages. So what we're going to do is explore a little bit here at Dash Point. So I'm going to click on the play button just to let it automatically rotate around. And as you can see, it gives you a really thorough panoramic view of the water, the beach, and a cool feature here, if we press the pause button, is to click on the little yellow and blue hiking man icon. If we click on that, it'll take you to another portion of the beach. So it's kind of our way of allowing you to virtually walk along the beach. And at different parts of different virtual tours, you'll be able to walk along a trail or hop from one part of the park to another, depending on where the little yellow and blue icon is. So as you can see over here, we've got an entire scene list of different places. So you've got the picnic spot, picnic shelter, and then all these other things like the amphitheater, the trail. So like I said, if you press on the yellow and blue icon, it'll take you further down the trail, which is really exciting. You can see like the lush forest and everything. It's really, really beautiful. You can even climb stairs if you want to climb stairs. It's all the joy of being able to walk through the forest and see different parts of the park without the actual strenuous part, which is kind of nice, especially because it's been really hot lately. And this might be a good way to get outside without having to actually go outside. So what I really love about the virtual tours is that it allows you to do a number of things. You can either preview a park before you go. You can get an idea of the landscape, what you're in for if you're going hiking. You can figure out beach access. You can figure out parking. There's like so many different options for ways that you can use these virtual tours. Another thing that's great about it is that if you went to a park and had a really wonderful experience, you can relive it in a lot of ways by visiting our virtual tours. It gives you the opportunity to either look forward or look back on fond memories. And it's just a really great way, especially right now when things are a little bit difficult and it might be hard to get outside and explore parks the way that we normally would. You can plan for the future. Thank you so much. Have a great day, you guys.
All right. Again, thank you, Allison and Washington State Parks Foundation for creating such a great tool. Why not say it again? If you do get out to Dash Point State Park or any other park, please do so responsibly. Plan ahead, like checking out the virtual tour tool and practice social distancing. Don't forget your Discover Pass. You need that. After every Sunday sermon, we give away a pass. So tell us what you thought of the event and enter into a chance to win one. The survey link will be shared at the end, so look out for that, all right? Did you know that Washington State Park has a number of free park days? Mm-hmm. In which they they don't need Discover passes. So you're looking to win a pass, but there's also free days where you don't need to have a pass. That's a good look, right? Their next free park day is August 25th to celebrate the National Park Service 104th birthday. 104th. So let's now go to the park and hear from Oshun Swim School. Take it away.
Ooh, actually. Yes. Yes. I grew up taking swim lessons at the YMCA. I think my mom had me in like the mommy and me classes at a younger age, and then stuck with it for many years. Was never like super pumped about any kind of like organized sport, but I stayed with it long enough to like gain the skills really. But for me, my like love of water and really yeah, like where I really like engaged in swimming and felt really connected to it was more in natural spaces, going to both of my parents in very different ways. Grew up very connected to swimming in oceans mostly. And so we grew up swimming, yeah, in the Pacific Ocean, swimming in Maine, swimming in lakes and rivers, like wherever I was, it felt like once I get in the water, that's when I've like really arrived. So those like informal spaces were where my connection to water really formed. Hi, my name is Chandrika Francis, and I'm the founder of Oshun Swim School. I have been interested in environmental education for about the past 7 or 8 years. And it took me a long time to really come to that because I was like, no, that's not a real job. Like, what can I do with that? I also like just didn't see myself there with the people I saw in the environmental world. But when I finally just like stopped trying to fight it, I found that I really loved it, and particularly working with young people and young people of color and supporting them to feel at home when connected to the earth and understand how deeply that is connected to their identity and who they are and who we all are. And so I've been doing that for about 7 or 8 years in different capacities. And for the past 2 years, I have been working with that same element, but with water, with Oshun Swim School. And it feels very similar. It's a lot of similar challenges around, histories of fear and violence around being connected to water or being connected to land. And at the same time, there's that similar feeling of just so much growth that is possible, and so much beautiful history and connection to ancestors through being connected to water. So I've really felt excited to apply this way of teaching and learning when thinking about decolonizing environmental education. Applying that to teaching swimming has been a really fun and really rewarding and beautiful journey. So Oshun Swim School is a program that really centers the needs of Black women and non-binary people, as well as other folks of color. And it's really in response to the reality that there has been a lot of trauma there. And so that when we're learning to swim, it really needs to be trauma informed. And it also is really based around our cultural and spiritual connections to the earth and to water, and by bringing in those elements, that swimming can be certainly about the skill and also way deeper, and when it feels like a safe space, can really blossom into so many other things, as well as learning how to swim. Yeah, safe space. So, or safer space. So I feel like there's this ongoing discovery and facilitation around safe spaces, and yeah, there's like so much to say about that. I feel like, well, okay, I feel like first of all, ooh, let them know how you feel. So yeah, in talking about safer spaces, I think that the reality is that a lot of Black folks don't feel particularly safe in swim classes, and that can be for a variety of reasons. I think that a lot of them, and also depending on gender, if you're a woman or a non-binary person, already being in a bathing suit, you're already in a vulnerable position. You might not already feel comfortable. That's not really addressed or held. And then you add on all the layers of, basically racism and its impacts on swimming. And it's just, you're already not feeling super safe, and then you're trying to learn something that your life depends on. Like, it's just like it's a hard start. And so by calling it a safer space, is kind of acknowledging that it may not be possible for me to make everyone feel safe in every way because of my own biases, because I can't control the whole environment that we're in. But shooting for a safer space than most of the other spaces, like improving. And so what that can look like is, honestly, I think that in terms of like BIPOC spaces, that like that alone is a huge piece of it. Like just like having an affinity group space creates so much safety. And there are other things other practices that I try to do to create safety within those spaces, which a few in this context can look like really asking permission before I'm touching anyone, and making it really clear that everything that I ask people to do is an option, and giving other options, so that people are making choices for themselves and what feels safe for them, and not because they feel pressured to do it. And I think as well, like offering space to talk about some of our shared experiences with water, particularly around race and racism and gender, allows for that sort of elephant in the room to be named and acknowledged, and that in itself, for many people, can feel safer to move forward. I've just been thinking a lot about like facilitation and the idea of safety, and I was just listening to a recording from the Allied Media Conference, and they were talking a lot about, like, instead of shooting for safety as like our goal, like looking at creating spaces where people can be courageous. So I've been thinking a lot about that, just in the way I'm sort of like framing space, like holding space, because I think that it's true when you are trying to create complete safety, it's this like impossible bar. And if you're able to create a space where people feel safe to be courageous, we can kind of enter into creating safety together. So that's something I've been thinking about as well with facilitation. I think that my work is definitely part of environmental justice, because I feel like environmental justice, a big piece of it is acknowledging the ways that human harm is tied in with, and like human systems of oppression is tied in with environmental harm. And I think that the reason that we're in a place where Black people and other folks of color are 3 to 5 times as likely to drown is because of these social and environmental harm that has been done. And it's very connected. I think that Black people are much less likely to live in places where they have access to swim lessons, and also much more likely to be in places that are impacted by the climate crisis, and by things like hurricanes and flooding. And so you have a population that is more likely to need to know how to swim to survive climate crisis and less likely to get those services. So yeah, it feels very connected. I am in progress and working on just entering into more reciprocity with the spaces that I enter. So that looks like a lot of different things, but I am working on when I'm coming to a new space of water or land, whatever it is, offering something. So a lot of times that might just be pouring some water on the ground or in the stream, and just being able to start that relationship with an offering because I know I'm going to be gaining so much. And ideally, you know, reciprocity also looks like this work around protecting our land, protecting our water, but these sort of symbolic offerings are also part of it, also part of that energy. So yeah, I just offered some tobacco, some dried tobacco to the river that I had harvested. And yeah, I feel like as someone, you know, who's descendant, like being descendant um, of African folks whose exact like spiritual practices I don't know. I feel like I'm always learning how to like there's technologies for actually being in reciprocity, which is a lot of what spirituality is about. So yeah, I'm learning, and I think there's a lot that is here for us to learn and practice. So. What does it mean to celebrate LGBTQ community? Yes. Well, I think that this is a really relevant time to really look to the LGBT community for leadership because we are in unprecedented, uncharted waters with like it's like we're all just out here bushwhacking, and I feel like that is what being queer is about. Like there is no path for you; you got to create one. And so I think that yeah, there's like a lot of knowledge and wisdom within queerness and within the LGBT community around being really creative and turning nothing into something. So I think that's like a really big part of the celebration. And I also love what we're seeing right now with just like understanding that celebrating, like when you're in an oppressed community, that celebration and resistance are like really interconnected, and you can't and shouldn't have one without the other. And I like that we're seeing that in the way, particularly around Pride, and the way that we're really starting, people on a bigger scale are starting to acknowledge the Black trans women at the center of Pride and the protests at the center of Pride. And I see that resurgence in the way that we're understanding, queer pride. And so I think that's relevant for right now too. And I just think that water is really gay. Like I think water is very queer. It's very like can take many forms. It's not following a binary at all. And I think that being in water and the whole earth is really about the full spectrum of who we are as people. So I think that it's a great space to particularly center queerness.
Yes. Thank you so much, Chandrika. There is like an abundance of things that I can say about what gift you have presented to us. The interconnectedness of spirituality and culture, the vastness of the water reflecting to the vastness of ourselves, whether it be binary or non-binary, and taking all of that and showing our pride, showing our queer, trans pride, and the connection of the water, and knowing, even for my queer self, being a person that actually still does not know how to swim. So I think I need to link up with you very soon to learn what is that hesitation and that distance that we have for or from the water, but the water is so connected to our culture. I think there's a song by Fela Kuti where it says water's no enemy, or water no enemy, and it talks about the action of how the water can heal us, how the water can nourish us, and then also the water can take things away. But the water is such a balance, and your expression of how you feel about the water and teaching how us as Black people and the vastness of our Blackness can enter into the water and combine each other as one. So that is greatly appreciated. Thank you for taking on such a task. And even though you didn't think it was a real job, you took it on anyway and realized the beauty and necessity that was needed to be here in this space in this time. So many blessings and thank you, Chandrika, for that. It was great seeing her out at the park, and that she is continuing to build her business. Continue on. All right. Coming back to something that is usually expressed when we talk about Sundae Sermon is Sundays. Yes. Since we love, enjoy, especially these 80 and 90 degree weathers that we've been having in this Seattle space, or wherever you are right now, wherever it's hot for you right now, we wanted to make sure that we gave a shout out to Black owned sweet shops, because they're out there. You got a sweet tooth, go and get it at a Black owned sweet shop. Yes? Yes. All right. So the Black owned sweet shop is in Des Moines, and this is called the Mini the Donut. And at this point, you might want to like Google Mini the Donut to see what's up, to see their hours and everything else like that. Check them out. They have mini donut cakes and ice cream that look great. Mini donut cakes. Let me think about that. Mini donut cakes and ice cream that look great. Link in the chat. So if you are right now looking at the chat, it's the link. Hop on it, see if they deliver. I'm going to see if they deliver after this. All right. Definitely go and support them if you can. Also, if you know any Black owned ice cream shops or makers, make sure to drop them in the chat. Please, we got to support our Black owned businesses. We'd love to highlight them. And not only do we want to highlight our Black owned businesses, but we also want to highlight folks in our community, our LGBTQIA community. There has been so much going on before 2020 and now in 2020. And there have been, I want to actually highlight the fact there has been a lot of transgression that has happened towards our trans women community, from the deaths that have been occurring to the ridiculous shown in LA, what we saw in LA that was going on, where 3 of our trans Black women talked about being assaulted. And I want to bring this back real quick before we enter into our next guest, is that this is the Sundae Sermon, and we are celebrating Black folks. I want to express to you in this moment, in this time, that There is enough division going out there. We do not need to be divided in our own community. If we are talking about a safe space, just like Chandrika talked about, there needs to be a safe space with us also, with all of us, all of our vastness and our expressions. Let us celebrate each other. Let's love on each other and keep each other safe. Please. That's the sermon I want to give you today. All right. Now that I got off my soapbox, we're going to go into the next portion. This next, I want to welcome a musician. We're going to get some song in our lives. We're going to get some sound in our lives. Coming back to that sound healing that I'm expressing to you. So there's so many different versions of sound healing. There's the word, there is the meditation, and also there is the musical sound, the sound that revives us and heals us. And that is the thing that we need. So I would like to welcome today on Sundae Sermon, the musician, Joe Williams.
Hello, hello, hello. Well, thank you so much for having me. And that was such a glorious introduction. One thing I love about Black folks is we know how to introduce each other with like the most dignity and reverence. So thank you so much for that hype. I feel like I'm at church already. I am a pastor's kid. So I grew up in the church, and now in my queer adulthood, I found other areas to find that, I guess, role manifest in my life. But I'm so happy to be a part of this today here with all you viewers. Thank you, Siobhan, for curating and inviting me to this space. I am talking to you all from my house over here in Central District, Seattle. So I was thinking about what I could play that's celebratory, because actually a lot of the music that I play is pretty sad and serious. So I'm an academically trained classical pianist. And, they taught me things in school like Mozart and Chopin and Beethoven and all this pretty serious, heavy stuff. But I thought I would maybe share a little bit of what's called the underrepresented canon of Western classical music, because guess what? Black folks are all up in classical music in every time period. So I'm really excited to share a couple composers that we can all be proud of, and make sure you Google the names that I introduced to you. But one of them is named Florence Price, and she was a pianist and composer from Little Rock, Arkansas. She actually was born and raised in the South, and stayed there until 1927. Once there was some racial tensions, including a public lynching in her hometown, she decided to get up on out of there, and she headed north to Chicago, where she was a pedagogue, organist, teacher, and composer. So, generally when people say classical music, we don't think of Black women, but I'm here to tell you that we should. So, this is a nice, beautiful little waltz by Florence Price.
Joe.
Yes.
Yes. And thank you for that information. We are loving to get a chance to hear from you really soon. But I want to have a little convo with you before you start. And I love how you led with that information. That is some information that we need, because we don't realize that Black folks are all up in classical music. So
thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, some of the things that we've heard about Beethoven, but we won't go there. So, I just wanted to put that out there. But before you start, because I'm ready to be healed with your sound. but I wanted to just kind of converse with you for a moment. So
Yeah.
it's great to have you here. I'm so appreciative of being in your presence. You know, when they said there's going to be a pianist, I'm like, okay, let's do this. So I'm happy to get a chance to meet you. I wanted to even ask you if you can do even more to express yourself in a way of like introduce Joe as Joe, however you want to introduce yourself as. Like Joe, not only the musician, but what else is there about Joe that we don't know?
Okay, nah, you're officially my like best friend all of a sudden because I'm so used to the music arena. It's like I don't know if it's true in other arenas, but we have like these biographies, and you're only supposed to talk about like what institution you played at,
Oh
and
no, not here.
no one needs to hear none of that. No one cares. So let me just give you the real intro.
Okay.
So as I said, I live in Seattle right now, but I am born and raised in Tacoma, 253. So I will never claim Seattle as home. Just,
Okay.
just to be clear, while there's a lot of love in my heart, I am a Tacoma boy, and I don't know what you want to know. I have a music series in Lakewood, which is a little bit south of Tacoma, and as I mentioned, I'm all about reframing people's perceptions, ideas about classical performance music. So that's actually a music series called Music from Home at Lakewood Gardens, and it features exclusively works by people of color and women who are really, really underrepresented in all academic spheres of music. It would be very helpful to my personal cause if everyone just wrote the symphony and opera and asked for more Black women representation, personally. But, you know, it's an honor to work with like-minded individuals who are intent on decolonizing this crazy field. And I'm just so appreciative to meet people like yourself and Siobhan who are passionately involved in doing the arts right. Because honestly, there's a reason why our folks are right here and not in other places.
So true. Listen, and thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that. There is one question that I have for you. What does celebrating LGBTQIA mean to you?
Honestly, for me, like just queerness in general is unadulterated expression, a lack of self-consciousness, um, embracing my own mood. I mean, this is what I am, so it's kind of hard to imagine. You know, I will say for several years, you know, growing up very religiously, I was used to suppressing myself. And just being a musician, it almost gave me a secret world to kind of say and express things that maybe weren't allowed, like with my speech or my body. You know, I think that, you know, us as Black folks, we know about code switching very well, knowing, you know, how much of ourselves we could bring into spaces. And I think there's some intersection there with my queerness. So, you know which cookout to let loose a little bit more than others, right?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
yeah, that's just how I would say it. How is it for you?
How was it for me? It is again, or not even again the same. It is through my art, and it's also through my physical presence. I think that's the thing. Like sometimes we don't always have to say like, okay, in my art, like this is my queerness. This is my queerness. Like you see me. This is a full body representation of what I'm expressing to you. So there should be no question. And if there are questions, then we express them and I'll answer them if I feel like it. But that's really it. The celebration is me existing. The celebration is you existing. I mean, when we talk about what is going on here in this year, in this time, our existence is a celebration overall, and it's not Black and queerness, or it's interconnected all together. And that is my celebration. The fact that I can wake up every day and that I've been given that gift is just like, okay, let's do it, family. Let's do it. So yeah. I do have one more question. I thought I had one question, but I have one more question for you before we get to hear you perform. Is what started you, like what was the first thing, the first time you said to yourself, I want to use the piano as my way of speaking?
I think it was a survival strategy, honestly. This is hitting super personal, so I'm going to take a moment to breathe. And thank you so much for your introductory meditation. That was beautiful. I'm just trying to get centered in truth, but for me, really survival, because I felt very isolated as a young adult in this world, not having a lot of shared reality with folks, I guess. I think, my parents, they have their own stories. They're an interracial couple. I think they really tried to shelter me and my siblings from the world.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that was just not exposing me to people that they consider dangerous, right? So I grew a huge imagination by myself. I had a lot of time to myself. I was homeschooled. And the piano, I could really transport to any world. Music are pieces of culture, right? So, I could play music by Albanians and be transported to Spain, right? I could get into Debussy's Dream World and go all the way to French Impressionism, And I felt like sort of the nuances that I brought out in the music could really help me heal and reflect on things that I was going through.
Thank you. I truly appreciate that answer, and taking that time to be in your truth. That you might have just like helped a whole bunch of people, and you don't even know that you just did by speaking your truth. So thank you for sharing that answer. I really, really, truly appreciate it, and I'm going to speak for the other audience members and say they probably appreciated it too.
You are so affirming. Thank you so much for helping me feel so comfortable today.
Definitely. Your energy is speaking to me, so I know all is well. So let's now get into this, which is your beautiful art. So I'm gonna make sure I step away and let you do your thing. Please, everyone, welcome and listen to Joe Williams.
Thank you so much, Naa. So, as I prematurely introduced this before, I got a little carried away. I'm so sorry. This is a waltz, which is a type of dance music in 3/4. So it goes like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So there's this lilting circular motion to the music that you'll hear. It's a waltz by Florence Price, and this was an incredible woman. She fought things like domestic abuse, racism, sexism, classism, all sorts of obstacles in her life. And, I really dream of the day that just as people, say Beethoven, just as they say Chopin, we'll say Florence Price, and it'll ring true for all of our, society, because we should know who this person is. So this waltz is from a suite called Cherry Blossoms in Her Hair. It's very charming, and I hope you enjoy. Thanks so much. Thank you, Naa, for your clapping. And one thing I forgot to mention, that piece was from 1943. So you
Wow.
probably heard a very old-fashioned quality. But I don't know, what happened in the world in 43? World War II, and here you have this charming, beautiful music. So I'm really appreciative to share this because, you know, this is our history, and it's a side of our history that a lot of people, I think, is surprised to hear. Like, just beautiful music.
Yeah. Joe, thank you so much. That was breathtaking. And I could see the passion in you as you played and connected with with the artist. Even though in 1943 we still can bring that old to new and have it resonate here. So Joe, thank you so much. And I hope to, when this is all done, I hope to get a chance to see you without the screen.
I appreciate that so much. And yes, let's definitely kick it when this is all done.
Definitely, definitely. All right, Joe. See you soon.
See ya.
All right. I I know, right? That yes. Yes, it was. Whatever you're thinking, even though I can't see you, I'm just going to say yes. Yes, it was. All right. Now that we got a chance to listen to that sound, that healing, that sound healing music, and also got a chance to learn history. It is so important. We don't know as much as we think we know about the history of our culture and the people that have been making pathways in so many different arenas and areas of music that we can actually, show and teach and express to our youth and say like, hey, we were here too. We've been here also. So again, thank you, Joe, for that history, that music, and that sincere, genuine truth of how you got to where you are in this expressive art of piano. Okay. Now, camping. Has anybody gotten out camping this summer? Now, I know that might be a tricky question because we are in this pandemic. However, for myself, and however, for myself, we we talking about me and my family, we never really got a chance to go camping. Hailing from New York and coming out to Seattle, I got a chance to actually see what trails look like instead of really camping. I haven't honored or got to that peak yet of camping, but I hope that as time goes on, before it gets too cold, but if you're into it, if camping in the colder weather is cool, that you get a chance to do that. And what was told to me is that Joe Williams, we thought Joe Williams had another piece, but it seems that he doesn't. That was it. That was what he was offering. So again, thank you, Joe, for that lovely piece that you given to us. So with that, going back to camping or going back to trails, I say do either or. If you're ready for camping, do the camping, social distancing, safety. If you're ready for trails, do the trails, social distance and safety. Um, when you're coming from a concrete jungle and then you come into like all of these trees and bushes and trails, it's just like, whoa, this is a lot. But the experience has been an open eye for me, and I'm happy that I'm receiving that chance. So if you want to receive that chance too, get out there, do it, do your thing. So with that, next up, we'll be hearing from Halle from Washington State Park. take it away.
Hi, everyone. I hope you're doing well today. My name is Halle Wood, and I'm the marketing manager at Washington State Parks. Today, I'm going to show you how to make a reservation through our reservation website. I'm also going to share some tips and tricks for how to score a spot at your favorite state park during our busiest season. First, you'll want to go to our website, washington.goingtocamp.com. For the sake of today's demonstration, I'm going to make the reservation through our testing website. First off, you'll want to create an account. Since I've already done that, I'm just going to log in. After you log in, you'll be brought to your account information, where you can store information based on where you live, your phone number, your email address. You can also select whether or not you'd like to receive emails and updates based on events and promotions that we're doing in parks. You can also store information about your license plate or your boating information here. We also have an area for you to store information about your equipment type. These are all optional, by the way, except for your profile details. You do have to enter your address, a valid email, and phone number. So now I'm going to start the reservation process. So when you first come to our homepage, you'll see this area here at the top. This is where you'd start your reservation process, but I first want to just share some information with you. If you scroll down below, you'll see additional info, how to get help with your reservation. We have information about park events. We have information about park alerts and campfire bans, since this is wildfire season. We also have information about how to recreate at state parks. And then finally, we have information for how you can rent gear, which we're really excited about. This is a recent partnership that we have with a company called Arrive Outdoors. If you don't have the camping gear, backpacking gear, or you just simply, you don't want to invest in this stuff because it's very expensive, or you don't have an area to store it, you can rent the gear, and you just click on this link and it'll take you to their website where you can start your reservation for camping gear, and you can have it sent to you wherever you live. Now I'm going to start the reservation process for you. So you have different options here, with camping or roofed accommodations, vacation houses, marina, group camping, day use, retreat centers. Today we're just going to go with regular tent camping. So let's say you don't know where you want to camp. Well, you can, from this drop down box, you can select any campground in the state, or you can just select Washington State Parks to see what's available. And I'm going to go with midweek because that seems to be the only time that's available right now for people to actually get into a campsite. From here, you have a map option or a list view. From here, you can select a region of the state, or you can do the list view. So these are the different parks that have availability for the time that I selected, which was August 25th through August 28th. Today, we're going to focus on Dash Point, though, specifically. From the drop-down, you can select Dash Point State Park. I'm going to go with a different date because September might have better availability, and I'm going to click update. So with the map view, it's based on your preference. I like to use the map view because I like to see where the campground is relative to the water, but you can also use the list view. We have a legend below, and it shows you what the different colors mean. So green means available, red means not available. It's pretty easy. So I'm going to click on this area because it's green. And you'll see here you have different options for where you want to camp. And when you click on one of these icons, you'll see that there's photos for every campsite. So you can see exactly what it looks like before you even reserve. And I like to look at the photos because I want to know how close I am to other people. And we tend to do a pretty good job of showing that. So this looks pretty secluded. You can click reserve. From here, you'll see reservation details and information about what is acceptable at Washington State Parks when you're camping. We're at the next point of the reservation process, but let's say I'm camping with people who really don't like tent camping. Well, we have a lot of cabin options for people. So from here, I can actually add another reservation if I want to, or I can remove the reservation or edit the reservation. So I'm going to add another reservation because I have people with me who need to stay in a cabin. We have these park alerts right now related to COVID, and so you will have to acknowledge them at certain points in your reservation process. So now from here, I'm going to go to roofed accommodations. And then I'm just going to select dash point again. So from here, again, I'm using the map option. You can use the list option if you'd like. Seeing that there's cabins available in this area of the park. And again, based on the legend, you're going to want to go off of what the icons that are green. So I'm going to select C4. You can see what the cabin looks like before you reserve it. This looks pretty great, so I'm going to reserve this cabin. We're at the next point of the reservation process where now I can see what I have reserved. I have a cabin and I also have a campsite. And now I'm going to proceed to checkout. You're going to need to acknowledge all of these policies before you can move forward. And then you'll want to confirm account details. At this point, let's say you are reserving for someone else. You make a reservation and one of your friends is going to show up before you. This is where you'd want to put their information in so that they can check in for everyone when they get to the park. I will be showing up first, so I'm going to just select myself. At this point, you can select add-ons. So let's say you don't have your Discover Pass. You can purchase your Discover Pass at this point, but I just want to add that you actually don't need a Discover Pass to camp at a state park. Discover Passes are based on day use. So if you're just going to the park for the day, then you'd want to buy a Discover Pass. And we highly recommend purchasing a Discover Pass before going to a park, just so that you're prepared before you get there. So this is where you're going to enter your payment information. And I'm going to put in my fake credit card. And by the way, we do not store any payment information. And this is the final page that you will see. This is your confirmation page. Now you will receive this information via email, but you can also print your confirmation letter if you need to. But again, the confirmation information is in your email. And so when you get to the park, if you just want to pull up that email and have it handy as far as your reservation number or for the staff that's helping you check in. And that's how you make a reservation at Washington State Parks. I hope this information's helpful for you. We hope you have a really great time with your stay at Washington State Parks. Have a great day.
All right. I hope this information is helpful and that you get all the stuff that you need. So when you travel to your next Washington State Park, you have all the information to reserve and to make it, again, the most safe and fulfilling time with you or your family or some friends that, again, are doing social distancing. Now, I know that I said Joe was done. I lied. He is not done. We are going to get a chance to listen to more of hopefully his work, and if not his work, another history lesson on another Black musical artist. So let's get a chance to bring Joe Williams back onto the screen.
I am always happy to bring the history because low-key, I'm a nerd. So thank you for
Hey.
that. So, I enjoy classical as well as jazz. And there is a composer by the name of Valerie Capers. And she is also a pianist and educator. But she's kind of in our history books because I believe she was the first blind pianist admitted to the Juilliard School, which is a very prestigious music school in New York. I want to play a really beautiful selection of hers called Billy's Song. And she's, of course, referencing Billie Holiday. So it's a ballad. It's very beautiful. But Valerie Capers is from the Bronx and Juilliard trained. She's played with some of the most prestigious jazz musicians out there, wrote a lot of beautiful compositions. And unfortunately, even in the jazz arena, gender equality is not yet a thing. So I always love to announce Valerie Capers. Please remember her name. Thank you.
Joe, that was beautiful. Also, I have to selfishly say when I heard that Valerie Capers was from the Bronx, I went like, okay.
Right.
I said, boogie down Bronx, BX stand up. So before I moved out to Seattle, I lived in the Bronx. So it's nice to know that what history was in the Bronx that I did not learn about. So isn't that interesting? It takes me being in Seattle to learn the history of what was going on in the Bronx. So Joe, thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And I hope that if she is not celebrated there, they can start just naming everything after her. That would be great.
There needs to be a street. There needs to be a street. Joe, thank you so much for sharing another rendition to another historical Black artist, musician. Yeah, and thank you for being a nerd and knowing this information.
I got you.
Truly appreciate you. And I think that's it. So I hope people are sending you love through the chat and just recognizing you. And also I wanted to know, is there a place where we can hear your work?
Oh my goodness. Is there a place? In your heart, you'll find me there.
Okay. All right. And if there is anything else that you wanted to share, hopefully, just share it in the chat, and we just appreciate you. All right.
Thank you so much, Naa. You're such an amazing host, and I really appreciate your time today.
Thank you, Joe. All right. Okay. Yeah. Come on. I mean, Joe twice. That's a good day. That is a good day. All right. So I want to kind of give you some information about a group, an organization that I really truly feel in my heart that should be donated to and just recognized and seen for the work that they're doing within the community. And that org is Creative Justice. So Creative Justice builds community with youth most impacted by the school to prison to deportation pipeline. School to prison to deportation pipeline. I want you to think about that. Participants and mentor artists work together to examine the root causes of incarceration, like systemic racism and other forms of oppression, creating art that articulates the power and potential of our communities. And I would like to say that I got a chance to actually work for a few weeks working with these amazing youth as a teaching artist, and just spending that time and connecting and just realizing the artistic expression. When you give someone a chance to express themselves through art, not only is it a healing experience, but it is a way to kind of just shake off all that energy that they might be holding, dealing with whatever that might be, school, their block. Overall, it's just a helpful tool. And if you have the chance, please, we have dropped their donation link in the chat, and we'll make sure to share it out after the event. So please look out for Creative Justice. All right. Next, because we're just going to keep on bringing them in. Keep on bringing them in. So next up, we have a special performance from a dancer. See how we just moved from one expression to art to the next expression to art? All right. So we have a dancer named Author Mutijima. Make sure I say that right. Author Mutijima. All right. Please, in your home, give it up for Arthur. Let's take it to a trip to the park.
sex, brand new Tesla. I'm feeling brand new. I light a start all my friends when I watch, and it always come up like my legs in the middle of the night on the gram, and I'm flexing for life. I know I'll be on some crazy shit, but I love to feel so weak in the knees. All like SWV. I love it when it on me. I love it when touching on me. It's like water. Oh no, no, sunshine. Oh, I SWV. I like sexing in the backseat.
I got 7 days to make your needs. I'll hit it right tonight to make sure that you don't leave me.
You, no, you wouldn't leave me. It's the way you drink it all like you're thirsty. Tie me up, pin me down, show no mercy. Nibble on it, kissing it like a Hershey. You could be the boss, so let you work me. I let you finish on a catty session on me. Bust down on your future baby mommy. Yeah, I beat my face, moving fast cause I Uber on the way. Taking pictures, make sure you can see no less. That wig secure like the money in a safe. I look like babe, now I'm on the way. Let you know when I'm about a mile away. When I'm outside, please don't make me wait. The party's starting when we pull up to the gate. Girl, we so late, I'm just with the crew. We ain't out here looking for boo. Cause some nights be better with you. It's a holy kind of mood, and tonight we on 100. Now drop off love, baby, my boss keeping it cute. Ooh, ooh, that's just what I do, and that's just how we do it, yeah, that's just how we do it, do it. You like it, what I do, know how to keep it cool, and that's just how we do it, yeah, that's just how we do it, and you could do it too, don't complain.
Hello! Great, awesome. Thanks so much for watching. Yes, my name is Arthur. I'm currently living in Seattle. I've been here for about a year and a half. Originally was born in Nairobi, Kenya, raised in Frankfurt, Germany, lived in Baltimore for a bit. I currently live in Seattle, and I'm excited to teach you guys actually some of the 8 counts that you just saw. So make some room, grab a water bottle, and we'll just get started. I'll play the beginning of the song to get us warmed up a little bit, and then we'll get straight into it. Cool. So just follow my movement. Side to side. we've greased our joints a little bit, let's get straight into the movement. So you'll have your feet shoulder width apart first, and the first move is a circular motion that you'll do with your hips. So make sure your knees aren't fully locked to unlock room for you to move your hips. So on one, you'll go 1 and 2. So you want to snap on 2. Okay, let's do that again. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 and 2. And then on and, you're going to start moving to the right. And 3. So on 3, your right foot will be crossing your left foot. You're going to bring your left arm to your hip here. Oh yeah, and this is my right hand, left hand. Right hand, left hand. Yeah. So we're here. Actually, it's connected back from the top here. So we're doing 1 and 2 and 3. And what you're going to do with your finger is trace an S. The lyric will say SW. V, and then, so you'll go from S, and then you'll step out with your right, and then move your weight over to your right, and as you do that, you're going to cross your arms. Okay, so let's do that again together. So from the beginning, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1 and 2, and S, W. So actually, let me run through that SWV part again. So you're doing the S, then you'll step out your right leg and cross your arms to start your V, then you'll uncross them, and then when you bring them up together again to complete the V, that's when your hips are all the way to the right, and then you'll cross them like so to create your V, and at that point you want to move your hips to the left. So let's do that again together, and that's probably the most complicated part, math-wise, and makes sense with the music. So yeah, let's do that again from the top. 5, 6, 7, 8, 1 and 2 and S, W, V. Okay, let's do that with music. Okay. Freestyle this part. Feel yourself. 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, and S, W, V. All right? Let's do that a bit slower because right now I just got my timing correct too. So yeah, let me run through that one more time. Then we'll add another few steps and then we'll have the first 8 count done. So again, we're here at 1. So here you can do a couple different things with your arms. Sometimes I like doing a swoosh like so, or you can just do your neck roll, or you can create your O that way. It's up to you how you're feeling right now. So I think I'm gonna go with the neck roll. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 1 and 2 and S, the. So again, W, V. And at your V, the next move is going to be on the count of 5. 5, you're going to swirl your hips around once. 5, then you're going to do a plie, where you're just bending your knees and bringing your hips down. And then you're going to bring them back up to your right. And just bring your arms up in whatever way feels good. You can do something like that, do this. So yeah, let me SWVO, I. And then from here, you're going to step your left leg back, bring your right knee up, go into, in ballet, they call this a passe. And then once you do that, you'll just drop your leg back down, and then you'll drop. That's your first 8 count. So let's run through that really slow, and I'll count us in. And then we'll do it with music because it's really, when you get it with the music, that's when it all makes sense and the magic happens. Okay, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 1 and 2 and 3 and the 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and the 8 and 1. Okay, let's do that again. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 1. Okay, one more time, and then we'll do it with music. Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 1. Okay? Yeah, this core is all about feeling good. You know, I also encourage you to record yourself doing it. There's this wow factor when you're like, oh, is that me? Yes, it is. So let's do it with music. Yeah, it's really important to freestyle a little bit too, to really get yourself in the mood. Seven, 8, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, 6, 7, and 8, and 1. I'll count us again. Count us in again. Five, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, 6, 7, and 8, and 1. All right, you're doing great. Whatever you're doing, it's awesome. We're gonna move on. All right, so we just did this part and 1. So on 1, you're going to be coming up from your legs. So when you do this and then you step in, just step a little bit in front of you to create that line. So you're here, you'll bring it up, and then you'll snap. And this is probably the hardest part of this entire combo, is because you're holding a lot and you're really activating your core here to like not lose balance. So when you're here, you'll snap, and then you get to release it by stepping forward onto your right leg, and then just turning around and just dropping it down like so. So you're here, then you'll turn, and then step out with your right leg to land. So one more time. So you're here, snap, turn, step, step. And as you turn, you want to bring your arms up too for momentum, or if you want to make it super relaxed, you can just bring it around like so. Or if you want to add the arms, you can do this thing. So you'll snap, bring it around, and then drop it. And then, so when you're here, you're gonna just whip your hair to the right, and then body roll, flick, and then a little freestyle. And that's the whole combo actually. So let's run it again from the top to connect it all. And then we'll take a water break. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, let's take a little water break. Doing awesome. Okay, let's do it with the music. 7, 8. 1, 2, and 3, and the 4, and 5, 6, 7, and the 8, and 1, 2, and the 3, and 4, and 5, 6, 7, and 8. If you did that first go around, you're amazing. If there were some parts that you're just like, that's okay too. We'll run it 2 more times, run it a couple times with the music, and yeah, go on and dance and be great. So yeah, let me run through it 1 more time, nice and slow, and then do it a couple more times with the music. Okay. 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, 6, 7, and 8. Yeah, the 7 and 8 is just what I came up with just now on the spot, but it could 7 and 8 could be whatever you want. Praise now. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, and 3, and the 4, and 5, 6, 7, and the 8, and 1, 2, and the 3, and 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8. Whew. How'd that feel for y'all?
Yes, Arthur.
Thank you.
How are you? Yes, please take a moment. Sit. You know, you did the work.
I sure did.
You did the work. I was just like, you know what? That is a teacher. When a teacher is just like, we're not going to do this just twice, and then I'm like, hope you get it. You were like, no.
This is about safety too. Make
sure exactly.
The knees are in check, the hips feel comfortable. You know, I learned from experience of just diving straight in without, making sure you're isolating your things and then bad news.
Yeah. Thank you for the stretching in the beginning. And thank you for just like being diligent in the sense of like, okay, we are going to show you each step and each move and also how you can finesse it on your own. Thank you, Arthur, for being a part of this.
Yeah.
Like I really, I was, even though I'm sitting, I was trying to move with you. I was just like, okay, we gonna do
this.
It's
all about the feeling too, music like that, the R&B is all about the vibe.
Exactly.
You feel it in your bones. And then I try to add, some lines to it,
Right. When did you start dancing? When did you know, like, this is something that I need to express myself with?
Well, I've always danced, every function, weddings, birthday parties. Like I was always that kid that's like, come do your little dance.
Yeah.
In front of all the cousins and the relatives. So I was always just into moving my body to music. Mm-hmm. But then it wasn't until I went to college. It was a liberal arts school that also had a huge dance component to it too, that I was going to dance performances and really understanding the science behind it. And I was just like, whoa, this stuff is number one, really hard. Mm-hmm. And when you train, you can like really do some really incredible stuff. So there I got to go to a bunch of dance performances, but I never really took a dance class there because I was just like, oh, dance is nice to watch, but that's not for me. Uh-huh. And then I was just watching dances on Instagram too, those viral videos, just saying, damn, I wish I could do that. Mm-hmm. But then one time I just grabbed the camera. It was actually when I moved to Seattle. Yeah, I found a little dance studio, $11 an hour to just book it out, big mirrors. I said, you know what, you're going to do this. You record yourself, see how it looks. And I was like, whoa, who is that? I didn't know that, I could embody that. So after that, I just became sort of addicted almost, where I was just like, damn, I really like seeing myself reflected like this. So I just started following a bunch of choreographers doing their movements. And now I'm getting to a place where I'm putting together things for myself. And I really like mixing ballet with like R&B music, some contemporary in there, and then some all types of movements like mixed together. But ultimately, for it to look graceful and beautiful, that's the kind of style that I'm really gravitating towards.
Nice. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I wanted to ask you two more questions.
Yeah.
One question is kind of like what I asked our guests earlier. What does it mean to you talking when you hear celebrating the LGBTQIA? Like, what does that mean to you?
Yeah. Let me think about that. It means just celebrate, putting credit where it's due. I always, it's always fascinating finding out how queer people end up being the originators of pretty much everything cool that people are into. Uh-huh. So my thing is, it's just just naming where things come from music. That's what I really appreciated when Joe was talking about the impact of Black folks in classical music too. It's just we've been everywhere. So to me, it's about really naming where it comes from and celebrating that. And then another thing, because when you had asked Joe that question, I was like, ooh, I think you're going to ask me that too. And then I thought about just, the word ingenuity came to mind, but just how to finesse in spaces. There's just something that I'm really appreciative of that queer folks do all the time, that we still go to work, we still show up in this world that, doesn't really want to see us. Mm-hmm. But we do it in ways that are still affirming to ourselves, when it comes to fashion or speech patterns and that kind of stuff. I'm just always fascinated in all of just the magic we get to create for each other in spaces where we're not supposed to be seen. So I love that.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And my last question for you would be, what does Sunday, the day, mean to you?
Sunday is the day of rest. It is a day I feel very comfortable not replying to any messages, and I like keeping it that way. I feel like now with pandemic, folks are really into, blurring the lines over weekends have sort of gone out the window too, where sometimes every day feels like a Saturday, and then you're just damn, that has every day been like a Monday right now too. So I'm entering the space where Sundays are becoming precious to me. I'm living with my brother right now too, who's visiting me over pandemic, and we made breakfast this morning. It's one of those things that we try to do, start the day off right with biscuits and gravy and that kind of stuff. So we just chill for the rest of the day. But today I got to, share with y'all for a little bit, so that felt good too.
Definitely. Thank you, Arthur. I appreciate that. So, it's that last day of the weekend that you just
recharge.
Pause, recharge, let's do this, and let me start back up. And I hear you on the blurring of the lines. So we just gotta, bring that back. This is the boundary. This is where it stays. Yeah. Thank you. I'll see you on Monday. So
yep.
I hear you. So is there any place that we can find you, or are you showing any videos or anything on YouTube clips or stuff like that? Okay, cool.
So on Instagram, I post random little dance clips. It is my last name spelled backwards. That's my IG handle.
Got you. All right. Arthur, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really appreciate your expression, your art expression, and I know many people who are viewing this appreciated it too, and the teaching that you did. So
my pleasure.
Yes, keep doing your thing, Arthur. Thank you so much. We are just at the end of the show. Isn't that wild? We've done a lot today. in this time that we're here together. So though we are at the ending of the show, I want to make sure that I give out some special thanks, because gratitude, again, we started out with gratitude. We want to make sure that we end with gratitude. So here it goes. I want to say thank you to our sponsors: Conservation Northwest, the Wilderness Society, Washington Trails Association, Seattle Audubon, National Endowment for the Arts, Washington State Parks Foundation, and Washington State Parks. As we close, I want to thank Chandrika from Oshun Swim School. Thank you for letting me know that I need to start working it out and learning how to swim. And hopefully that has happened for other people. I also want to thank Joe Williams for giving us the education, the history, and the sound of our Black musicians. And I also want to thank Arthur Mutijima for the teaching skills, and also just letting us know that our bodies are an instrument too. Please check them all out if you can, wherever you can. As well, we want to give a shout out to the team, the people behind the scenes. So giving a shout out to Monica, giving a shout out to Kiwi, giving a shout out to Michaela and Lynette, our ASL interpreter. Yes, hand clap for them. Today has been an experience for me as your MC, and I hope it's been an experience for you to get a chance to learn so much, to listen, to see, to get a chance to know what you can do, even in this time of uncertainty, that you can get a chance to connect with nature, get a chance to connect with your body, get a chance to connect with sound. It is a beautiful thing, and just to breathe, get a chance to breathe and do these things in this time of uncertainty is a blessing. So I hope you get a chance to go out and safely go out and explore those things for yourself. The next event is coming, so look out for that. That is coming up September 6th, and we are going to be celebrating women. Yes. Hey, how y'all doing? All right now. So don't miss it. RSVP, not like in 2 minutes, not in an hour, right now. RSVP right now. Okay. Don't forget to fill out the survey and be entered into a chance to win a Discover Pass. We talked about that earlier. We got that free day, August 25th, but also don't forget, if you can't go August 25th on that free day, that you get your Discover Pass. So please fill out the survey so you can be entered to win one. We are going to dance it out with a throwback to last year at Sundae Sermon with DJ Mixx America. Thank you for joining us this Sunday for another Sundae Sermon, where we celebrate greatness and vastness of our LGBTQIA Black folks. Remember what I said. If you don't remember anything, but I hope you do remember everything, that there is too many division going out there. We don't need to divide ourselves. So please celebrate all the Blackness in all its ways, and do that while eating our favorite ice cream. This is your friend Naa Akua. Thank you again for joining this Sundae Sermon. DJ Mixx America, do your thing.